Reptichip sets the standard for reptile substrates. Made from the highest quality coconut available anywhere in the world, Reptichip allows enthusiasts and keepers to provide their reptiles with the necessary humidity and thermoregulation required for your animals to thrive. You can support the podcast by heading to reptichip.com/snakeboy or visit the link in the description below. This episode is brought to you in part by Exoterra. If you're as passionate about reptiles and amphibians as I am, you know that quality matters. I use Exoterra products on all my reptile and amphibian enclosures, which is why I'm excited to be partnering with them. From naturalistic decor to innovative lighting and enclosures of all sizes, Exoterra has everything you need for your cold-blooded companions. Exoterra, make your reptiles feel at home. This episode is brought to you in part by Unlimited Exotic Pets. Every day is Veranda Day for Nick Lillis, and it shows. At Unlimited Exotic Pets, Nick produces high-quality monitor lizards with a deep commitment to ethical care practices and top-tier nutrition. These aren't just pets. They're responsibly bred, ethically raised animals. Whether you're looking for a new companion, starting a breeding project, or anything in between, Nick has you covered. Unlimited Exotic Pets, keeping and breeding quality without limitations. Love reptiles? Don't miss this. If you're passionate about reptiles, amphibians, and everything cold-blooded, Reptiles magazine is a must-have. Each issue is packed with expert care tips, stunning photography, and the latest news in the reptile world. Whether you're a seasoned herpetologist or just starting your reptile journey, this magazine has something for you. Subscribe today and stay informed on the best ways to care for your scaly friends. For only $14.99 a year, you can step outside your algorithm and get exposure to things that you wouldn't normally see or learn about. My family reads Reptiles magazine, and you should too. Visit subscribe.reptilesmagazine.com to get started. This is the Expert and the Idiot podcast. If you like the show and you'd like to support us, there's a link to our Patreon in the description below. Some benefits include getting access to new episodes up to a month in advance. There's also links to USARK and USARK Florida. If you're not already a member, please sign up. Enjoy the show. I've killed so many of them. I'm not allowed to have them anymore. I think it's just too hot. It's Florida. My house goes up to like 79 degrees, like ambient, during the summer. And then inside the enclosure, it's even hotter because, you have like your light bulb or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You almost need to just like keep the light off of it a couple inches.
Yeah.
Just to keep it from building
That's a
up
good
at the top.
idea.
But
yeah. You're a smart guy. You just figured out all my problems in like one sentence.
Yeah, just don't keep the lights on top. You're good.
All right. So welcome to episode 107 of The Expert and the Idiot. Today I'm talking to Jack Thomson of Gekkotaculture.
Gekkotaculture.
Did I say it right?
Yeah. Gekkotaculture. I say it like herpeticulture. That's kind of where I got the name. It's just herpeticulture plus gecko equals that.
Gekkotaculture. It's good. It's good. So this is cool. We're going to be talking about geckos. I don't give enough love to lizards.
Too many snakes.
Yeah, I do a lot of snake stuff. I think the last time I had a gecko person on, like a devoted gecko person, was Jimmy Ma, and that was a long ass time ago.
Tokays. Big tokay guy.
Yeah, big tokay. So you're big into the Europlatus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, leaf-tail geckos. Yeah, so that's all of this crap behind me. It's
Nice.
all Europlatus. Full tent.
Yeah. Dude, your enclosures are insane, and you make the setup look so easy. Like, I'm not kidding, man. I've been working on a White's tree frog glass enclosure for like 8 months. Like, I bought it 8 months ago, and I'm like, well, now I have to let this cure, and now I have to do this, and like I'm just so slow. And I watch your videos of you building these enclosures, and you're just like sticks and plants and water it and like put geckos in, and it looks fantastic.
I have it easy though. So my buddy Wyatt, he lives on like close to 100 acres, like maybe like half an hour from me. So he's got all this oak forest on his property, and that also happens to be like the perfect branch for Europlatus, being oak, because the bark is nice and smooth. They really don't like the rough cork branches and crap. So they almost need like the oak and the birch. That's what you see a lot of people use for them. So I'm blessed with ample access to unlimited wood, essentially.
That's awesome.
So I have that in my back pocket, but I also don't really do backgrounds in the traditional sense, as far as like, spray foam and, cork panels and that kind of thing. I just do the polywall. And so there's nothing that I need to like wait to cure. There's nothing I need to glue or anything like that. So
yeah, I get so
there's too many. There's too many to take that long on an enclosure here.
Yeah, for sure. But it like you get the job done, and it really does look good. Like sometimes I think like, damn, why am I putting all this effort into it? And dude, I have oak everywhere. I have an oak tree that is literally like 90 or 100 feet across. Like it's huge. It's monstrous. So I got unlimited branches. I have no excuse.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I bought wood, honestly.
That's good.
It's been a good while.
Dude, I went to a reptile show once, and I dropped like $200 on wood, and I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
It's outside. I shouldn't be paying people for this.
Like sometimes, like I know like some people, especially in the Midwest, have a hard time finding good wood. But I mean, at least out here, it's very plentiful. So I'm very blessed in that regard. I couldn't even imagine how much dollar in wood I would have to drop to do the same thing. So, it's one of those blessings that's definitely helped to make it practical to do it on this scale. For sure.
Yeah. And like just, and like you said, that bark is perfect, right? Cause they blend in so well. Dude, your photography is crazy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's so good. It's so good. I want to get into that, and I want to talk about some of the gear that you use.
Yeah, sure.
At some point, I don't know, we can get there, but like I saw your rig on one of your reels with your diffuser and your flash and everything, and I really need to invest in that because I'm always using like overhead lighting and trying to paint with the light to make it look just right, but like again, like I get so obsessed with tiny, minute details. And then I watched your photography setup, and I feel like everything you do, you make it look really easy, and like the end product is fantastic. Like, cause you're putting these geckos up on these branches and just snapping them, and then bam, beautiful picture. Incredible looking.
Yeah. So I attribute 90% of how good the photos come out to the AK diffuser. It's that big, black plastic, diffuser that goes on top of the camera. It basically, so on the end of it, there's a big like opaque panel. So, obviously when you think about like a camera flash, it's like this, little square, like a 2x4 inch square of intense light that shoots. So if it's coming from that single origin and hits the subject directly, sometimes you can get problems with it being like overexposed or like the lighting super harsh. So you'll get like a lot of places on the animal that doesn't get, good lighting. So like armpits, folds in the skin, like you'll just get like these weird drop-offs in color and texture. But what the diffuser does is it basically like it like the light shoots, it hits that big panel, and then it just spreads the light out in a much like more even blanket. So what that kind of translates to is like subjects with like really good lighting. And honestly, that's like 90% of it. I don't really get those crazy harsh shadows with that thing. And yeah, it's kind of a cheat code, honestly. Like
for real.
I spent a while like getting like super frustrated. Like I used to, do like the two-handed method with like the disconnected flash, and I just got fucking tired of it. There's no consistency to the photos either. Some photos would look really good, and then some photos would be like, I don't know, light's weird, and like, But the AK, like, it keeps all my photos looking fairly consistent too, which I really appreciate. So for sale photos, like, it's a godsend because, you know, they all look the same. I don't really need to do any color adjusting after the fact. You know, for people that like kind of worry about, you know, like people getting in there and messing with settings and bumping colors up, like there's nothing I need to do there. I can just leave it in one setting and just hit everything. And then, you know, you kind of know, you can cross reference between different photos really easily and kind of see how the different colors come out.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So how much is that like set up? Because I have a Canon 60 Mark II, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's like that. Like I understand my camera and I've shot a lot with it and everything, and I know how to manipulate lighting. Mm-hmm. But when you're dealing with living things, yeah, it's so it's so hard to make them get with the light just like this and look at the camera. Like, good luck with that. Good luck with, you know, a snake or something, you know, or in your case, a gecko. And so like, how much is that part of your kit?
I think the AK diffuser itself was like $100, which is a lot to spend on, you know,
it's not.
What is essentially,
for consistently good pictures.
Well, what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is that like the physical product probably wasn't, you know, that expensive to make, but the end result that you get with it is well worth the $100.
Sure.
So, you know, seemingly large investment for, you know, what, you know, is, you know, plastic and in little buttons and stuff that holds it all together. But like the end product, you can't, in my opinion, you can't beat the consistency and you can't beat the ease of operation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the simplicity too, that you just have like these Norfolk Island pines that you just, you know, that are like potted, and you're just like boop boop, 2 of those and a twig with a gecko and snap, and you're done.
It's nice because I have like a new rotation of plants. Like I usually just buy plants when I see ones that I think I'll use. So I've got like a little reserve, and I'll just take like a different style of plant every single time. Every time I do I usually do drops like quarterly. So like every quarter I'll have like a different lineup of plants that I'll do behind it. So like each time the photos look slightly different.
That's so cool.
Or have like slightly different greenery in the background.
Nice.
But I try and do like the one around Christmas time with Norfolks if I can get them soon enough. So that has that, you know, Christmas vibe.
Yeah, we bought one of those at IKEA like 6 years ago and planted that sucker, and it's like 7 feet tall now.
They're like some of my favorite plants. Back when I kept a lot of New Cals too, I didn't make the connection until more recently, but those things grow all over New Caledonia. So if you wanted if you wanted to do like a true to New Cal, like, I don't want to say biotope, but you know, like biotope-esque, drop a Norfolk Island pine right in there. And you're good. I think it's mainly cook pines that grow across New Cal, but like I know Norfolks are there as well.
That's cool. We used to have one at our old house, and that house was built in like the 70s, you know, and they were planting those things everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we had one it was like 6 feet off our eating area window, and it was just such a pretty tree to have like right there, and it was probably like 30 feet tall. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, they're beautiful, and I love like they're like very sturdy and tropical. I don't know, they have that look. I just love the look.
Yeah, they look like Jurassic Park trees.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah.
So, and you do have snakes, and you've reproduced snakes, so we will get to that. For anybody that's listening right now that's thinking,
technically it wasn't me that did it. I was just the conjoined twin in the project.
Okay, so
well, we'll talk about that though.
We'll talk about that anyway, just so anybody who's into snakes and is like, I don't want to hear about geckos.
Yeah, we'll dangle some chondro stories on the back half of this. So,
Oh man, yeah, so much to talk about with chondros. Did you get them eating? All that fun stuff.
Yep. Trials and tribulations.
Right. So how did you get
snakes?
So how did you get into reptiles? How did you end up with all these badass geckos and enclosures everywhere?
Yeah, no, I've been keeping for since I was probably like 9 or 10 maybe. And all that just stems from, you know, catching lizards as a kid. Same way most people I would think get into them. You know, kept, you know, your leopard geckos, ball pythons, crested geckos, that kind of thing throughout, middle and high school. Hit a collection reset when I came to college, and then I got really into dart frogs for a year or two, and then I think it was the summer after my second year. I moved into a new place over the summer. It's usually how like the college schedule goes. And I was at work one day, and PG&E decided they would shut the power off for fire safety without telling anyone. And then so I came home to my room baking at like 95 degrees, and everything was smoked. And this is like maybe like 6 or 7 different groups of frogs that I'd been raising up for a year, and they were all starting to call and like do their thing. And then so I came home to that disaster. So then I hit the reset button again. And I was like, all right, I'm done with frogs for now. I was working at like a fish and reptile store. So, I got really into saltwater keeping, and then, picked up some geckos, and then got kind of how, that started.
Yeah. That's cool. And so what draws you to the geckos specifically?
I think I've always just had a thing for geckos in general. Something about the eyes and then the feet, they're very, obviously they're very unique within the reptile world. I don't know, something about the almost cartoonish look that they have compared to other reptiles. Their proportions are just kind of goofy, and like, obviously the variety that you can get within, geckos is insane as well. So some of the colors, forms, and the different habits they all have it's all very cool. I don't know. It's something. It's hard to explain. Like, some people are snake people and have that itch, and it's just, for me, it's just the geckos that give me that itch. Not necessarily lizards in general. I do like lizards, but like the gecko specifically, I think.
So, like, if you could only have one species of geckos, which one would it be?
It's a good question. I mean, obviously it'd be a leaf tail of some kind, but gosh, if I had to choose one, honestly, if I could only keep one for like the rest of time, it might be like maybe one of like the bigger moss mimics. So maybe one of maybe like a Fimbriatus, or honestly, my Fimbriatus are kind of dicks. So maybe Hankali, honestly. Only because a lot of like the majority of my Hankali will tongue feed, so there's a little bit of that interaction I can have with them. They're also like a really impressive size, beautiful colors, and I'd probably say Sakori or Hankali. Sakori are just nice because they're smaller, but they come in way cooler colors, in my opinion. Like, you can get like crazy like blues and greens and reds and oranges and pretty much the whole gamut on a Sakori. Hankali are a little bit more reduced in their like color palette, but some of the patterns they can get are crazy. But there's a huge variety. So I'd probably have to say one of those, one of the good sized moss mimics.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of one of your Hankali right now, and they just don't make any sense. Like it's like you can't tell where the branch ends and the gecko starts.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. Yeah,
they have like a lot like this jagged beard with all these little micro protrusions and stuff, and that kind of helps break up the the harsh lines. So they really just disappear. You kind of it's extremely difficult to tell where they where they start and end. If they weren't black and white banded, then they'd be a lot harder to see, but
Yeah. I'm looking at too, you have these the Madagascar micro geckos.
The Ebonavia. Yeah. I love those things. Those are cool.
Dude, they're so tiny.
Yeah, I never see them. So I've got my adult pair in an 1836 that I've got like completely decked out with like bamboo and all that. Mainly, it's a enclosure for my Phelsuma clemeri. They all Phelsuma clemeri replace Ebonawi, the spear points. And Ebonavia, they all kind of I believe they're sympatric. So I did like this cool like cohab setup, and they're all breeding like crazy in there. And I don't even want to guesstimate of how many geckos there are, but I only ever see like a couple of the Ebonawi, and then the clemeri are obviously very bold, but the Ebonavia, like, I'll go to spray, and all of a sudden like the substrate will just start like moving and wriggling, and there's a bunch of like these little micro geckos like scurrying around in the leaf litter. Otherwise, I never see them. It is they're like the ultimate empty tank syndrome, lizard, but like when you do see him, it's like a really cool, it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh man, there's so many cool geckos. I will never get any of them because I feel like I'd kill them. And I don't know. It like I try to be as honest with myself as possible, and I think myself as like a lazy keeper that like I couldn't handle anything beyond a snake. Like even our White's tree frog, like the kids got it, and so I have to yell at them constantly to make sure that they're feeding the poor thing, and yeah, like how do you keep up with feeding all these geckos, man?
Painfully. Thankfully, your playlist in general compared to like a lot of other like agamids and maybe even other stuff in geckos, they have quite low metabolism. So right now we're in winter cooling mode, so I'm only feeding the majority of the geckos like once a week, if that. So they are almost on like a snake schedule, but like feeding day does take like 2 or 3 hours. So it's a large endeavor when it's feeding day. But in the summer, I'm only feeding like twice a week. So you have your days where it takes a while. But spraying stuff, I have a lot of stuff on automatic misting, hand spray the rest of the babies, and then so that's kind of how that carries on. But yeah, with this stuff, I'm not even babies. I'm only feeding babies twice a week too. So it's not something where it's like every single day I've got to like be in here for a couple hours. It's just like a day or two a week where I'm like, really jamming on feeding bugs out. But other than that, it's pretty lax, honestly.
Really? That's honestly kind of surprising. So like I'm sorry if you said this and I totally missed it, but like during their normal feeding schedule, how many times a week would a Europlatus be eating?
I feed them twice a week.
Twice a week.
And I'm only, so like, there's a varying range of how high certain species metabolism is. And there's varying ranges. Like, so like some of the Europlatus, they come from like a intermediate rainforest. So it's like really almost temperate. So it's cool, damp, wet, humid. Other places where it's a little bit warmer, a little bit drier. So depending on what species it is, kind of varies how much I feed. Like so, like for example, like the Sakura, they're more of like a temperate species. So I'm only feeding those like maybe like 3 or 4 crickets an animal twice a week.
Okay.
So like the total number isn't actually that high compared to something like a leopard gecko where you might be feeding double that. So it varies, but like it's a lot of cages to hit. Honestly, the biggest time suck has been the Ebanawi, the smallest one, the spear points, just because I have all the babies in individual cups as they're growing up, and popping each of those cups open and dumping crickets in, spraying and doing that on a regular basis does take a lot of time. But
wow,
they seem to be the one that people really like right now.
What size cup are you keeping them in?
30, like the little fruit fly culture cups. So like,
oh, okay.
Right.
Oh yeah, I see them
behind my shoulder there. So they hatch out. The spear points. This is just for spear points, not any other species. But the spear points hatch out no bigger than like, I don't know, maybe like a fingernail sized.
What?
Like so they hatch out of eggs the size of literal like green peas. So
my god,
they hatch like microscopic almost. It's not so unreasonable. Like they're not fast either. So like it's not unreasonable to like work with. I'm not trying to like scare anybody, but it is like, shockingly small at first.
Yeah.
So it's like a mansion when you drop it in like a full 32 ounce fruit fly culture cup, but it's perfect.
Wow.
It's got like a vented top, you can stack your branches and stuff in there. It's really easy to clean. So I find that method works the best for those for a good while.
Wow. And now the Henkelei, how big are they when they hatch out? Cause I'm looking at a picture of them on your Instagram right now.
They're about as long as they hatch out about as long as your middle finger.
Okay.
I have relatively short middle fingers, so maybe like a better reference is like 3 or 4 inches. So like the size of like a 3 or 4 month old Sakura.
Okay. Oh man, they are so cool, dude.
Yeah. I produced my first Henkelei ever this past year, and
hell yeah,
I couldn't have asked for prettier animals, honestly. Like I was already, like you work up to like producing like a certain animal that you dream about. At least some people, do when they do stuff with polygenics. Sure. And I kind of just like hit the lottery on that one female on day one. So extremely stoked on that. I mean, like, I don't know how you could get more white or more coverage on an animal. So, yeah, I was
That's so cool.
very excited. It was a very good night.
So it seems like the Henkelei is like your jam, right? Like those are like your favorite.
I would say so. Like, as far as my personal favorites, yes. It's a more recent endeavor. Like Sakura were my first ever, so those are, I've got a bunch of pairs of those now, and I'm producing those on a really regular basis. Same thing with Ebanawi. But the Henkelei, it's taken a little while for some of them to grow out. And they're the one, they're not cheap animals either. So it's been a sec, building up my group and stuff. But now I think going into next year, I should now have 2 pairs going, which is really exciting. So yeah, future's bright, hopefully. But it was strange because they only produced a single clutch for me this past year. So I'm not sure what exactly happened. I might have paired too late in the year. I could have also probably been a little bit more on top of giving the female, making sure she's got calcium. She never got like to the point where she had like body shakes or anything crazy like that. Like some of the calcium crashes looked like she never crashed or anything, but her reserves did definitely, suck up by the end of the season, even just after 1 clutch of eggs. So I'm not exactly sure what happened with that, because usually they're fairly productive from what I'm told. But honestly, it might be a blessing in disguise, because I would rather honestly have like a single clutch and that animal live, many years longer than
sure,
crap out, 12 clutches and die in 2 years. So
yeah. So what is their normal life expectancy, and like kind of, with me not knowing really anything aside from just admiring them, on accounts like yours, like are they wild caught? Are they captive bred? Like, what's their natural history?
For Henkelei specifically, there's no quota for them to come in from Madagascar anymore. So none of them are really wild caught. And it's been like that for long enough where like there really shouldn't be wild caught floating around, in like the open market at least. So kind of what we have bloodline wise is what we have. So yeah, all the Henkelei are captive bred. With some of the other Europletus though, they definitely come in at a regular, they come in fairly regularly, or seasonally, but they come in every year. And I don't know what the future of that will be necessarily. Like, just kind of knowing some of like the politics at play in Madagascar, it's a little bit turbulent. So, future's questionable for that. And honestly, just the condition of the rainforest out there is, not something that makes you happy. But yeah, at least here, a lot of my founding stock outside of Henkelei are wild caught. But at this point, we're working on second generation stuff, F1s and F2s. Nice.
Do you want to herp them? Have you done?
I'd
that
love
yet?
to. It's just because it's an expensive trip. I want to say that one of the only flights to Madagascar goes through Dubai. So like just factoring in the cost of just the plane flight itself is probably going to be like multi-$1,000. And then you got to pay a guide in Madagascar, and so it's a big endeavor, and I would love to. And I think it would be, obviously it's a bucket list item for me, 100%. But I also want to explore just outside of just Madagascar though. Like I had a lot of fun on this recent trip to Costa Rica, and honestly, like South America is an incredible place to herp. So I get just as much out of herping other places as I probably would herping Madagascar. But then again, like seeing my first leaf tail in the wild would probably just like floor me. So
sure. Tell me about your trip to Costa Rica.
Oh man, it was incredible. It was my first time out of the country, actually.
Oh really?
Yeah. And yeah, no, it was a very eye-opening experience. The different culture down there it's Costa Rica. I feel like is as far as South American countries is probably like the first one a lot of people do. It seems to be the most friendly to to travelers and to tourism, ecotourism. And yeah, there was not a second during that trip that I felt, unsafe or anything, like that. We had excellent guides. Shout out CR Wild. Those guys are the fucking best. By the end of it, like, it was awesome because, like, you kind of have this image of like a tour guide in your head. But by the end of it, like, they were, they're your homies. Like, you're texting them after the trip. Like, they're sending you photos of stuff they find, like, after the fact and stuff. And like, we now like have a group chat with like the group we went on and like one of the tour guides where we send like memes and crap to. So it's like, they're like homies at this point, which is awesome. Like, the last night we like celebrated by like going to a like a Costa Rican nightclub with like the tour guides, which is like off the fucking. So yeah, if you want a good time, hit up Sierra Wild. They're the best, and yeah, they put us onto a lot of stuff. They have great connections down there, and really that's what made it. Half like a lot of the things that we saw, I would have been completely blind to. Like, I heard a good amount in the States, but down there it's a completely different beast. Like, everywhere you look, they're like it, like, because I do like mainly desert herping, so you're kind of just dealing with like a fairly one dimension. Like, you're looking on the ground, right? Yeah, you might be looking in rocks, but like, you're not just surrounded in a bubble of leaves and plants and branches where literally anything can be at any time. Like, so you're constantly checking in different spots. So you're going fairly slow. At least I was, because it's like some of the guides can just like hold a flashlight and just like eye shine tree frogs from freaking 50 feet away. Like, they have like the eyes on some of these dudes. It's incredible. Just the skills that they have developed. So it's like, it took an adjustment. It did take like a big adjustment to kind of like familiarize yourself with what you might see, and then like kind of clue in. By the end of it, I started to get it, but there were like a few nights at the start where I was like, man, like, I fucking suck at herping. And without the guys, we would have been skunked for a couple nights. So like, shout out to them. Like I know some people, they don't like going with guides, but in this case, like, I didn't feel it. I wasn't tripping.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it equates to success, like, why not give yourself the best possible outcome for success?
Yeah, right.
Make it. I mean, you're already spending thousands of dollars to go do this. Between room and board and everything else. Like, why not go the extra mile and make it really count?
Costa Rica is actually really cost effective, though. I will say, like, if you didn't go with a guide, you could probably do it for like under $1,000, honestly, for a week.
Holy shit!
Like once, like the majority of the cost, honestly, just went to the tour guides. Like, my flight was like $300, like, round trip from California. So like,
wow.
And then if you like factor in like, okay, how much you're spending to stay at different places, like, yeah, like some of the places we went, like ATV or like 4-wheeled vehicle mandatory. But if you have spots that it like you can get to with just a rental car, like, you're golden, dude.
Yeah. So kind of walk me through that process. Like, how did you, were you sitting there thinking like, I really want to herp outside the country? And then how did you land on Costa Rica, and how did you start making all these connections to get down there?
Yeah. So, I honestly did none of the work. It was all Mike. So Mike Taxula, he invited me on the expedition. So like he well,
that helps a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So like, sorry to go around the question, but no. So full props to him. But yeah, so he organized it for us. But yeah, he invited me on the expedition. So he's been to Colombia with them previously. So he was already in the network with those guides. So he was already familiar with kind of how all that works. But yeah, so then I got invited to go, and it was a group of 6 of us. And yeah, couldn't have asked for a better group. We were all super, super jazzed to be there. And, it takes a lot of, takes some special friends to survive like, a full week plus, always in the same car, hiking on the same trail, there's probably cases out there where tensions rise, but like, it was a sick group, and, they made it what it was, honestly. So,
nice.
But yeah, no. So Mike arranged all that. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot different I would imagine outside of just traveling to a different country. Like it was very seamless. Where like, yeah, we landed, or I landed in the airport, got picked up, got taken to the rental place, hung out for a couple hours, and then we hopped in the car and went up into the went to the mountains and found some stuff. So like it was, so it was very easy to just get taken around, honestly.
Yeah, I guess that's probably the way to do it. If it's going to be like your first time, is just have some connections, and try to tag along with somebody else.
Yeah. I can only speak for CR Wild, but they made it very, very, very seamless. The whole experience. So they covered everything from food to places to stay, to travel. They did all the grunt work.
Nice.
And I would love to do like a trip to a different country where I, arrange it and all that. And I like figure out all that stuff, because I think it'd be a good learning experience. But like, as far as productivity goes, like, it was well worth it in this case.
Yeah, I bet. Where do you want to go from like after having that experience and with it being so positive? Like what's next on your list? Like what do you have your sights on?
It's a good question. I would love to hit maybe Mexico. Like I think the Yucatan is up there for me. Yucatan, and then for good things about Guatemala, but I know it's a little bit sketchy out there right now from what I've been told. But honestly, like we only really covered like maybe like a quarter of Costa Rica. Wow. If that. Like there's still a lot more to see down there. So another trip to Costa Rica fairly soon would not be out of the question. As I'm starting to get back into some dart frogs, Peru and Ecuador are also, kind of in the back of my head. But I'm also just as happy herping around the States for a year. So like there's still like a lot of places in country that I haven't been to yet that I need to.
Yeah. So tell me about some of the stuff you saw.
So I think we tallied like, I think 85 different species of reptile and amphibian over the course of the trip. So it was quite productive. It was cool because the way that they did it, like we had like a target each different night. Like we go out to look for a different species. And we teed up targets more nights than we didn't, which is pretty awesome. So I can kind of briefly go over like the different targets we had. So night 1 was in San Jose, and our target that night was Bothriechis lateralis. So like the side-striped palm pit viper. It's got a bunch of different names, but it's like a green arboreal pit viper with like these white stripes going down the sides.
Yeah.
And that's more of like a cloud forest, montane cloud forest species. So it likes a little bit cooler. It's not really in like the lowlands or anything. So it's so we hit that. We only really spent one night in San Jose herping. So yeah, we took this this road up all the way up into the mountains that kind of overlook San Jose, and we kind of just hiked this road and flashed into the jungle off the sides of the road, and we found one.
Wow.
It was so it's on my Instagram, if you're looking right now, it's that first green viper.
Yeah, I see it.
That I posted up. Yeah. That one was tour guides didn't even spot that one. That was Tyler. Shout out Tyler.
Wow.
And it was just hanging out, maybe like a foot off the ground in ambush. It was really cool because it was like maybe like only like a foot off the road, but it was like down low and on the branch perched up. And it was cool because like honestly, like compared to the rest of the nights, we didn't see a whole lot that night. It was mainly just that plus a couple of small frogs, and some insects. But hitting that target night 1, setting a tone, that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
We were fired up. We were really fired up.
Yeah, if you're listening, I have a picture of it up right now, and man, that thing is really cool looking.
The one that we found didn't have a whole lot of white, so it was kind of counterintuitive to the name, but it had some really nice like blue on the cheeks and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cool. It almost looked like it had just come out of like a burrow or something, because it was covered in dirt. Had a bunch of like these little like sand grains on it. So food for thought is all I'm saying. Where do they go?
Did you ever have any like close calls with anything?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, yes, we did.
Oh, you did?
But not to the point where we would have been like at risk of getting like bit, like actually, but we did. So there's a species of, so the big one down there that everybody like worries about is the fertile ants. Very iconic for the torment that it puts on the local people down there, because the babies are just like all over the fucking place looking for food. So they're the most commonly encountered snake, honestly, and it, you know, they'll just hang out. They could literally be anywhere, hanging out anywhere on the ground. So like anybody that wears like sandals down there is at risk of getting bit in the foot, ankle, which happens a lot with the babies. But there's another snake down there. I think it's Porthidium nasuchum, I think is the name. It's the hognose pit viper.
Ooh, did you find one?
We'll get into that, but it's like this really small viper, honestly smaller than like a baby fertile ants. It's like, I'm trying to think, because it's not even like the size of a bagel. It's like maybe like the size of like an English muffin curled up.
Oh wow!
So it's like a really small little pit viper, and it hangs out in leaf litter. And yeah, so we were, I think it was like day 5 maybe. We were hiking through some primary rainforest, and that was incredible. You know, obviously we're like geared in, so the guides are walking ahead. Some of the guides are walking ahead of us, shining, going at a pretty fast pace, and then we're kind of straggling behind, like, you know, taking our time looking at stuff. So none of us are really like clued in to look on the ground on the trail, because, you know, we're focused on trying to find, you know, spot tree frogs, spot snakes and stuff, climbing the branches. And we kind of just assumed that like the guides would have seen anything on the trail, you know?
Yeah.
Cause, so we're walking, and then all of a sudden I hear a shout like behind me. Someone said like, I think it was Logan, that yelled like, "Is that an eyelash viper?" And then we all like, so like, it's like 4 of us down the trail, and then we turn around, and then Logan's kind of hanging out behind us, looking down, and we had all walked past like this little freaking landmine that was just hanging out dead center middle of the trail. It's completely camouflaged. This was the last photo I think I posted of the trip. If you want to pull that up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. You have so many photos in here. Like if anybody looks at your Instagram page, like there's, it's like you click on one and there's like a bunch in there, which is.
Yeah, it should be like the first, like the cover photo of the last day, I want to say.
Okay, the kind of rusty brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that thing just disappears into the leaf litter. It's a remarkable little snake, but so hard to spot. Like Logan came like inches to within inches to stepping on this thing.
Wow. Yeah, let me see if I can.
And all 4 of us plus the guides missed it walking right by it.
Holy shit. Well, and I could see why, because, you know, it's like it's so well camouflaged. It's insane.
Yeah. And I think the guide said that it must have been like a small male that we saw. And we actually saw one the next night as well, perched up on a little leaf, which was really cool. Like maybe like 10 inches off the ground. It was just curled up in a little circle on this little clump of plants, and that was really neat to see.
Wow.
Yeah, so that guy right there. Man. So if you compare that to like the leaf litter around it, it just, and like, so like we had cleared off a lot of leaf litter to take these photos.
Yeah.
So obviously it's standing out right now, but like when we walked by it, it was like perfectly indented into a little clump of dead leaves, and I don't know how Logan saw this thing. It quite remarkable.
Yeah, and it looks like everything is wet. You know, so like it just looks like, you know, and it looks like its body is just holding a ton of moisture. Like it just blends in so perfectly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's got like a rusty red dorsal pattern, and really incredible. But it looks like a leaf. You know, there's a lot of leaf elements on that snake.
Yep. Yeah, they just completely disappear.
Man. Yeah, I grabbed a couple other pictures here I'll pull up, but go ahead and continue to
yeah, talk. No, so like that would be our close call of the week, honestly. It's just like not even the fertile ants. It was just those little fuckers that like almost we almost stepped on, and honestly would have done a lot more harm to the snake than us. So it was a blessing for both parties involved. But So that was the big one. Night 2, trying to think back. Target for that night was the Deanne's glass frog, which is one of the rarer glass frogs in Costa Rica. They're only found in like 3 little pockets, or like they're only known to be found in like 3 little pockets. In the so we explored the rest of the nights. We explored the I think they're called the Caribbean Plains, the Caribbean lowlands. So like the eastern, the northeastern half of or quadrant of Costa Rica. So yeah, that second night, we drove from San Jose to Sarapique, I think is what it's called. Sarapique, however you say it, something like that. I've been working on my Spanish after the fact. Honestly, that was my biggest takeaway. Is like, damn, I gotta learn some Spanish now. But so yeah, we were targeting that species. It was really cool because the guides, they do some research as well, so they kind of have some spots that they use to monitor certain species. So so we basically drove up a crazy nasty road for a while, hiked through some of the wackiest terrain ever because it was like just rolling hills, like up and down, like there's no switchbacks there. Like it's just like fucking sitting it in a straight line, but it's just like up and down and up and down. So like, and there's a lot of mud involved. So it was quite a roller coaster. There were some river crossings, but yeah, so we hiked a couple miles down into secondary rainforest and found this species near a creek. And it was really cool because we basically came up to this little clearing next to this creek. They had to shut all our lights off, and we kind of just sat there and listened. And then like you'd hear like this little chirp, and the guides, they were like, yeah, that's the frog we're looking for. You gotta spot, you gotta hone in on them because they could be anywhere. You gotta hone in on them by just sitting and listening to the calls and tracking the calls.
Wow.
So that's what we did. So like we'd turn the lights off, listen, beep, and then try and follow them that way. So I can't remember who found, because we found 2. I can't remember if it was one of the guides or somebody found. I believe it was a male guarding eggs. I believe it's the males of the species that guards the eggs, but it's Deanne's glass frog. I can't pronounce the genus honestly because it's a very complicated sounding genus. But Deanne is the species within that genus.
Yeah.
So if we found this male guarding a big beautiful nest of eggs, it's actually a really cool species because it's one of the only, if not the only, glass frog that doesn't lay eggs over water, which is quite interesting. When the intention of laying eggs, for glass frogs is for the the tadpoles to hatch from the eggs and drop down into a body of water. So it's the only glass frog that doesn't intentionally lay them over water. So I think they intend for their tadpoles to drop in puddles or onto leaves, and there's enough rainfall where they can kind of survive off that, which is really cool.
I think I saw the picture, but then I lost it.
It's one of the last frogs on the slideshow. It was the right slide.
I did bring up the right frog.
Yeah, it was the right slide, but it was a different. It was like the last photo. Should be a picture of that.
I want to bring up the picture. I think that frog that you photographed, he is permanently blinded by your flash.
Flashbang. Yeah, no, there's a line, but you don't want to sit and photograph a frog, or any animal really for too long, especially in the middle of the night with flash. Like there is a level of responsibility you have to have.
Yeah.
That you might find the animal, but you might not nail that perfect shot, and it's better to walk away than fuck that animal up.
Yeah.
There's just a level of responsibility you have to have when you're out there.
He's on full disability now. This guy.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah. So that's Deanne's glass frog, and they have really cool eyes. Their eyes are almost black. Like these really interesting, like black webbing throughout them. But yeah, that was I believe it's a male guarding eggs. In that photo, and it was
so cool.
So we found that one, and then we spent some time walking around. There was another one calling a little bit further up the trail, and we were all kind of hunting that one. And I basically walked into like this little this tree. You would never expect a glass frog to be there in the conventional sense because water's like 50 feet down the hill. But then like I'm looking at, me and David are looking into like this little grove of trees. He honed in on the call for the most part. But then I was looking into the trees, and like I got my like left eardrum taken out by this fucking thing.
Really?
Dude, I was like looking around, and we didn't hear anything, and all of a sudden I just hear a beep, and like I was like, it's talk about flashbanging, you know, frogs with my camera flash, dude. I got like flashbang from the sound of that frog, because it was on a leaf like right next to my ear, and it was just like bang. Somebody turned, and yeah, it was chilling right there under the leaf calling.
You didn't happen to see black milk snakes, did you? Or were you not at high enough elevation?
We didn't see any of those. No. So I believe those might be the Pacific side.
Okay.
A different location. But we did see, though, in the realm of, I guess, milk snakes, we did see a coral, which is really neat.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture and I lost it, and I didn't get it ready. Look at I grabbed like this one here is such a good picture, dude.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Sylvier's leaf frog. That was.
I hope that you printed this out as a poster. That's incredible.
I'm planning on it. I'd love to get some prints out and bring them to Pomona coming up, and yeah, dish them out there. But yeah, so that's Crusiohyla Sylvier's leaf frog. They're a hard one to find. At least that's the way it was explained to us. And without the help of the guides, we would have been cooked, honestly, because they're a frog that hangs out really, really high in the canopy. So you rarely encounter them just hiking. And they only really come down to breed with females. So the females will actually call near the ground. They'll find like a tree hollow with water in it. And they'll call, and that's what brings the males down to breed. So we actually found them by finding a nest, which is really, really cool.
Really?
Like we found like eggs in this down tree hollow over water, and there were a few males in the clearing around there. So that's what these were. So we never really found like a big adult female, but we did see maybe 4 or 5 males, which is huge. That was a crazy night. That was awesome. This is one that like. This is in the running for like a top 5 find. It's hard because, you know, you have your favorite snake, you have your favorite frog, you have your favorite, you know, whatever. But this one took the cake for me.
Yeah, I could see that becoming your favorite frog if it wasn't already. Because I keep
Praspidopus, which is same genus of frog. But now I'm just like, man, I gotta get these Crashbees out and get some Sylvier. And so if anybody wants to trade, dude, like these were incredible. Like the brightness of the orange on them, like they're remarkable frogs.
And are they like readily available in the hobby?
They're in the hobby, but I don't know about readily available. There's probably a few guys. Like tree frogs are kind of interesting because they're quite sporadic. So like you'll just see like you might not see them for a while, and then all of a sudden there's like 50 frogs for sale because some guy had a big clutch. So it's like it's very boom and bust with a lot of tree frogs, from my understanding of the tree frog hobby.
Yeah. I'm looking at tree frogs on Morph Market. Yeah, it's golly, those things, that is such an incredible picture. Really insane. And
my favorite one honestly was the one of it walking. Cuz that's what's strange about, like, that's what I think shows off this tree frog the best, is like when they're walking, they're like really showing off their sides and their legs and stuff, and like so like we got a lot of them perched up, but like when we saw them walking, that was just like, whoa.
Yeah, that's got to be wild. And could you hear them calling?
Yes. I'm trying to remember back. It was like a weird, like little upturned whistle. So it was like a whoop. Whoop. I'm trying to do my best. Crusiohyla impression.
That's so cool. And obviously now, so I know you said that you're thinking about getting back into dart frogs.
Mm-hmm.
Did the trip like kind of change?
Yeah.
Like what you're interested in, and
it didn't turn me off of anything, but it did like reinforce the fact that like, why did you ever leave dart frogs? You know, like I've always been like, they've been a huge passion of mine, but it was just like a bit of a pain point for a while, honestly. And and seeing him back in the wild, that was next level. And yeah, that was insane. So the one that you just pulled up was a Ufaga Pamilio, Bribri locality. And it was really cool because it was like one of the last days. And you hear about like Costa Rica being at this huge hotspot, and you just see like thousands of these things. And so we didn't really have that experience. Like we had to work fairly hard to find each of the animals that we found, and we would only usually find like, you know, a couple a night. But it, you know, we didn't really get the effect where it was like a huge onslaught of just this, you know, of red-eyed tree frogs everywhere and like, you know, dart frogs everywhere hopping on the red. Like we didn't really have that experience until like the last like day. So we spent the last day in gosh, what was the place called? I'm trying to think. It was like down by it was like next to the Costa Rican Panamanian border.
Okay.
Really literally right next to the Caribbean. I think it was Gandoca was what the place was called. And so we spent you know, the last day or two there. So we went to like this little waterfall hike on this hillside next to the town. I think it's a town, but it's named after the indigenous people, which are, you know, the Bribri. I think I'm fairly certain that that's what the indigenous, you know, tribe is called. So yeah, we hit Bribri, hiked this waterfall, and like that's when we got like the classic Costa Rican experience of like tripping over these things and making sure you don't step on them. Like there were hundreds of these bright red and orange Ufaga Pumilio everywhere. There are, you know, a couple of Doratus, Dendrobates Doratus mixed in as well. But yeah, it was like this really cool waterfall walk, and all these people were like, there were, you know, some tourists there that were, you know, gawking at the monkeys, and then all of us were just like piled up on the floor looking at the little Pumilio hopping around, and that was it was pretty awesome. Yeah, and I believe this is one of the largest localities of Pumilio as well.
And for anybody that's listening, they're like a vibrant red with sort of. This is a very special animal. This is like the best Bribri that I think I have ever, even just like looking on Google, have ever seen. Like this isn't like the standard look for Bribri. Bribri is usually more of like a clay orange or like more of like an orange color, red orange color than like just bright cherry red. So this was like a really, really cool. This is a really exceptional animal right here. Yeah, it's crazy looking, and it has it's vibrant orangey red, definitely red. With are those like black splotches across its back and sides?
It's almost like it's like a Nufaga Vicente, like a red Vicente, this Bribri that we found, which is, you know, like your classic like bright cherry red small frog.
Damn. And how about this guy?
Yeah, so that's Bribri as well.
Okay.
Same place. So you can see like the waterfall running in the background of that photo. But yeah, that was one that had, it was a red animal, but didn't have that same level of black blotching throughout its back.
Dude, I'm so jealous. Did you have to get any any vaccinations or anything?
I kind of forgot to. So we kind of just fucking sent it. I didn't have any problems with getting the runs or anything, thankfully. But I did bring my Life Straw water bottle, and I use that all the time. So I attribute that to my gut health for the trip. No, I don't think Costa Rica isn't a country really where you have to worry super heavily about that.
Yeah, it's
not. The water for the most part, I believe, is completely potable. So like you never really have to worry about that. Like the only thing is that like you might get, you know, depending on where you source your water, might be questionable. But like where we went, I don't think it was ever really like a consideration. But yeah, no, I just kind of just fucking sent it.
How old are you?
23.
Yeah, you might as well just send it, man.
I'm sure there's a list of good things to have, but like there's like this drug that, because I went with all Canadians, so there's like this, you know, there's this drug that you can get off the counter in Canada that kind of protects your gut, or like prepares your gut to prevent like traveler's diarrhea. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go and get that like a couple weeks before, and then I went to look, and it's like not approved by the FDA, so it's not in the United States. Shit, because you have to like take that like prior to going, like it's got like a 10-day set-in period. So then my backup plan was like, oh yeah, I'll just have one of the dudes like bring it for me down, I'll pay him. But then it's like there's no point then if you're taking it on day one. But you know, by the time trip's over is when it's gonna kick in. So it's like, oh well, we're gonna hope for the best.
What is the drug? Do you remember?
Decoral, I think is what it's called. D-U-K, Decoral.
D-U-K. Let's see here. Oh, is it like a vaccine?
Mm-hmm. It's like an
oral vaccine.
An oral vaccine, yeah.
Used to prevent cholera, and in some regions like Canada, travelers' diarrhea caused by certain strains of E. coli. Interesting. That's so crazy. It's like an oral vaccine.
And like the closest U.S. like the closest thing we have in the U.S. was like $300-400, and I was like, yeah,
it's not worth it.
Whatever. I'll just be careful where I drink water.
Well, this must be pretty safe because like kids take it. It says like it has like dosing instructions for like 2 to 5 year olds.
Yeah,
and it's raspberry flavored. So I kind of want to try that now. You know, I'm in Florida. I don't know how
import it.
You know, that's crazy. So you just raw dog that trip and you were fine.
Yeah, I was fine.
Wow.
Honestly, I think like I did have like, you know, I didn't have like the runs or anything, but like my gut was a little bit off kilter a couple days, but like not to the point, it wasn't like painful or anything. But I honestly attribute that more to just like eating beans every fucking day, every fucking meal.
Yeah, that you should probably do for like 10 days before the trip too.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Just get your gut ready for beans every meal, beans and rice every meal.
Yeah,
I love the food. I fucking love the food. It was usually like some, you know, meat plus beans and rice. And,
nice. But
like they always served, at least, I don't know if this is like a Costa Rican thing or if this is just like a place we stayed kind of thing. But we got like fucking fresh pressed fruit juice on every fucking meal. And the best stuff was like this bitter guava. There's like sweet guava, but then there's like this bitter guava. Like the juice comes out and it looks like greenish lemonade almost.
Uh-huh.
Oh, chef's kiss. That stuff is incredible. But yeah, we got juice with every meal, and you know, beans, rice, and yeah, that was, couldn't have asked for better food, honestly. Because it sounds like that's not the case for all of South America. Costa Rica just has comparatively pretty good food.
Nice. Yeah, it seems so. I mean, it seems like you said, it's kind of set up for kind of ecotourism and everything. So, you know, it's not like you were going to like some, you know, like. I don't know, take your pick, like somewhere in Asia or Africa where it's kind of, you know, people don't go there often. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So what about this little dude right here?
That is a fertilance.
Nice.
So that's the snake that causes the most issues down there. And it's because they're always like whenever they're encountered, they're almost always, you know, a baby. You know, and those things are just fucking everywhere. So they have like a cool like habit change throughout life. So like the adults, you almost never find like big adults, because those things usually only hang out in the rain, you know, in actual like, you know, untouched rainforest. They'll basically find like a hole that they want to call home, and they kind of just post up outside of this hole, you know, waiting for food. They become a lot more like sit in ambush, versus like, you know, on the move, hitting out in different spots, waiting for frogs and stuff. Like you know, they post up and just wait for, you know, like spiny rats and stuff. So you almost never see, you know, big grown out fertilance. And we did see like a solid like 3-4 footer, which is pretty awesome. I came up on that, you know, hiking in primary rainforest, and that was an impressive snake. And then it's cool because they go through a really neat like color change. They get a lot darker. They almost have like this black top line. Like if you look up like a grown out fertilance, like it's a badass looking snake. So you know, so I think the guide saw one that like quickly dipped into a hole, and that was like a true like 6-footer, or like a, you know, a good sized animal. But like we also came up on like a 3-4 footer just hiking.
Damn.
But we saw like maybe like another like 7 or 8 of these babies across the trip.
Really?
Yeah. So we got like a couple in each spot.
Now, did you have a hook with you?
I brought my tongs. That's the only thing I brought, but the guys had hooks and stuff too.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, pro tip, at least. So I picked this up from this is my new favorite like hiking or new favorite herping accessory. It's like a pair of like the biggest pair of like feeding tongs you can find, like the big ones for like finding retics.
Mm-hmm.
The tensile strength on those things is like strong enough where it can hold like a baby rattlesnake, snake or whatever. But like if you like actually like really like press down on it, like you don't like it doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not strong enough. It's impossible to squeeze a snake to the point where it hurts it, essentially, with these things. Mm. So it's like a very like foolproof way to just like pick up and handle baby snakes versus just like trying to wrangle them with tongs, which is, with baby snakes is chaotic.
Yeah. Damn,
but I picked that up from oh gosh, who did I pick that up from? Blanking. A person. Yeah. Shout out that person.
Awesome person. It's really hard to remember names on podcasts.
Dustin. There you go.
There you go. Shout out to Dustin. Yeah, I made the mistake of looking at Fertiland's bites.
Not pretty.
Not very pretty at all.
It's almost always the legs too.
Yeah,
it's like because like that was the big thing when we were down there. Is like the guides just enforced just for our safety that like if you're gonna walk around anywhere, but like in your room and like on like a paved path, you're wearing rain boots, just to protect yourself from getting bit in the ankle by a Fertilands.
Wow, they're that common, huh?
Yeah, they can be. I just think it's like, I mean, like we weren't like tripping over them, like it wasn't like, it wasn't like a cane toad where you like, everywhere you step, you might step on one. It wasn't like that. They weren't like that prevalent, but the unpredictability of where they can appear and hang out is what, is what you're thinking about.
How many days were you there for?
I think we're there for 8 days, 9 nights, something like that. So yeah, like a weekend back to back, or 2 weekends. Yeah.
And who took care of your collection?
Wyatt, my boy Wyatt.
Nice.
Shout out Wyatt. So it's having another reptile homing in your town is fucking awesome for that.
Yeah, I need one of those. God dang.
You live in Florida. There's gotta be other people down the road, but finding people you actually trust though.
That's
like
the problem. Yeah, like I can definitely find reptile people in my area, but they need to be like top tier.
Yeah.
Like really trustworthy, clean, people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best thing to do, in my opinion, sometimes is like sometimes college kids are great because like they really want to like mess with the reptiles. And for the most part, they're trustworthy. So like making friends with like a professor of like biology or anything like herp related.
Yeah.
Getting one of their students to come and take care of animals. Like that's I've done that a time or two, and that's worked out really well.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a really solid idea. So, do you have to like all your geckos and everything? I know you said that they only eat like 3, 4, 5 crickets.
Depending on the species. So like some stuff like the Hankeli, I'm feeding more closer to like 6 to 8. Same thing with Fimbriatus, feeding a bit more, just because they're large, and if I'm feeding large crickets, then like coming up with like a actually like good massive food is challenging with large crickets just because of how large they are. It's like a leopard. Roaches? It's like comparative to like a leopard gecko eating a small cricket.
Sure.
Watch the Fimbriatus take down the large.
Yeah. Do you do roaches or anything larger?
So I do seasonally like try and source garden snails or captive bred garden snails to feed to the bigger stuff, just because they put on calcium a lot better with those, it seems. Sure. And I'll also do like a calcium dusted pinky every now and then for breeding females as well. But I don't really do any other staples outside of crickets, though I am starting to mess with grasshoppers, like bring in some like letting so I also keep a Bronia, so I get grasshoppers in frequently for them. But when they grow too large for the Abronia, I'm going to start feeding those to the big animals. Because I think they'd really appreciate larger food items.
Yeah. So how many Abronia do you keep?
I've got 5, just 5 Lythrokyla.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, do you do just like full spectrum lighting, or are you doing UV light as well?
Just for the Europlate, it's just UVB. But then they have like the room light that kicks on and kind of illuminates the room as well.
Sure.
So I'll usually like, UVB is on for 10, depending on time of year, 8 to 12 hours a day. And then the lights, the daylights are on like an hour extra, essentially.
Okay. And like, what kind of UV tubes do you use?
I use the Zoomid 5% for everything, really.
Okay.
I also, on the babies, so anything shorter than like 20 inches, I'm using the T8s to get a little bit less intense of a spectrum. UV burn with some of the species is a big problem, especially with Henkelei. What often happens is, so there are species that comes from the northwest part of the island, so it's a bit drier and a bit warmer. What ends up happening with them is they get cold when they're kept at Sakura temperatures, so they always hang out right up next to the UVB. Really common to see tail burns with Henkelei, especially because they'll stick their tail up into the UVB, because usually you got your vertical poles in your enclosure. Some of them are very close to the UVB lights because they're touching the top of the tank, so they go and stick their fucking tails up on the on the top of the enclosure, and you'll actually see like I've got an animal in the previous care who had like a giant tail blister and ended up losing the tail because of excessive exposure to UV.
Wow, that's crazy. And I'm pulling up pictures right now. If you're not watching this,
but I do think it's one of those things that it is like essential for success. It's just you gotta make sure you're not overdoing it with these.
So do you think that like if you gave them a tiny heat lamp that they would like go over and...
Yes. I do think so. In talking about Henkelei, so like last year, I attribute a little bit of the success I had with Lineatus to throwing in some ceramic heat emitters. I don't know if I'd ever want to use... I'm a little bit wary of using intense heating lights, so like halogens and basking bulbs. I'm a little bit wary of that. Yeah. But I did try some ceramic heat emitters, and I think that is part of the reason why I had a good year with Lineatus, is because of that little extra warm spot. Constantly see females in that general area of the enclosure. Just making sure that, so like the common thing you hear about Leoplatus is like, don't get them too hot, don't get them too hot. But I think it's important for them to have a relatively cool ambient temperature, but I think exposure to warmer temperatures, as long as it's contained, is healthy and natural for some species. Sakura and Fantasticus and some of the more temperate stuff, I'd probably just stick with UV, honestly, and won't worry about basking bulbs. But for some of the warmer, classically warmer species like Ebanawi and Henkelei, mixing in a little heat source isn't a bad idea.
Yeah. So with your what are your temperature ranges for? I'm curious about the cooling time of the year and then your regular standard time of year. Like, what's your ambient and what are you giving them?
Yeah, so I have the AC in the room set to 76. That's my like ambient high point. There's pockets in the room that get warmer, so I try and liken species, set species up in certain areas depending on kind of how the room is temperature wise. So like I'll usually put like the warmer stuff higher and the more temperate stuff down low. So 76 is, I don't really want the ambient in the room going above 76 for the most part. And then I have right now, and then like, I'll pretty much just let the room drop off to whatever it drops off to at night. I live in San Luis Obispo in California. So like, honestly, the nighttime temperatures are like perfect. Because in the summer, it usually drops down into like the 60s, which I think it's really important that you give all these animals like a solid nighttime drop into the 60s. I think it's natural when you look at the temperature data of Madagascar. So I think it's important that you do that. So usually they're dropping down to like 65 at night, 65, 66, 67 in the summer, or in the breeding season. But then in the winter, I have the heater. It gets colder than I want them dropping down to in the winter here. So I have the heater set at like to come on and get it up to 63.
Wow, that's pretty damn cold.
Yeah. Well, so there are some species, so like the more temperate stuff, so like Sakura, like people say that, where they come from gets down into the 50s fairly regularly. So like it's not unheard of to like see Sakura down into the, the mid 50s as well. So if you keep that species out, if I just kept Sakura, I wouldn't even have a heater.
Really?
For any time of the year either. Yeah. It's just like with the Hankelei and stuff like that, Hankelei and Ebanawi especially, when you start getting below 60, it gets really sketchy. Like just because it's not, not a temperature that they encounter often. They don't really hold up well to it.
Yeah. And so like how cold does it get just in your area? Like what are the temperatures going down to that you have to
Winters
avoid?
get down like a touch below 50. Like, so like usually like high 40s is about as cold as it'll get at night. And then usually warms up into like the low 60s and the, mid 60s in the daytime in the winter. But summers, we have really mild weather here being like a coastal town. So like summer days is usually like high 70s, low 80s, and then drops into the high 60s, 70s at night.
Okay. God dang, that weather sounds perfect.
Yeah, I think there was like a study done on like the most good days of the year where it's like sun or like, a majority sun plus like a certain temperature range. And I think we hit like over 300 good days a year. Which is it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm in Florida, so our weather is like bipolar. Like you get into winter and it's like last night it was like 45, 50 and then during the day it's 81, and you're like, this is just crazy. I don't know when to cut my diamond pythons off from feeding. It's like, do I feed them? It's still like in the 80s,
Yeah.
I don't want it to starve. And then, of course, I feed them and we got a cold snap and then I'm just freaking out.
Fuck, there's a fucking dead rat hanging out in their stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrifying. It's terrifying, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's horrible. And then I'm like, okay, I'm out there like temp gunning them every morning. I'm like, Jesus, it's really cold right now, And
yeah. I don't know. But then you see Tony Doerr like ripping his coastals at like, into the 50s and it's like, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude. My diamonds went down to and shout out to Tony. He's such a good guy.
Tony's a man.
Yeah, he is such a good dude. All you guys from California there's so many cool herp guys in California. I'm jealous.
I know. I love like super shows. It's a great community that rolls up to those shows.
Yeah. I want to show this guy. Look at this little guy. This little leaf demon,
Yeah, so that's Europlatus ebanawi, so the spear point leaf tail gecko. This is like the one I recommend everybody start out with, especially if you have space constraints, temperature isn't, you don't have consistently mild temperature. This one can take a solid spike. I've temp gunned males into the 90s before. I don't like keeping them at that ambient at all. That would scare the shit out of me. But they're one of those that can handle a little bit of heat every now and then, which is pretty awesome.
Do you think it's the like the or the spike is okay as long as they're getting the opposite end of the spectrum at night where they're getting that drop and the relief from it?
It's hard to say, but I think long-term success is attributed to that, like, that cool down period at night. I think you'll get a longer lifespan out of your animals that way. I think, if their metabolism is constantly cranked up, you kind of short your animals out, especially with Europlatus. Ebanawi though, like they come from like just like a generally like a warmer and drier area. So they match up to terrarium conditions a lot better than a lot of the other species. Hankelei are also part of that region as well, but they're, fairly large and expensive. So like, this is like, the bee's knees for like your first Europlatus. And it's kind of cool because they do have that leaf effect. So you get that like Fantasticus look without like the Fantasticus, oh my God, I'm going to kill it, mentality.
Yeah, man, those things are friggin' wicked looking. So, and I'm going to pull up one here that is up on your morph market right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to go buy it, look at this little guy.
Wink, wink. Yeah. So what I love about Ebanawi especially is that they're extremely sexually dimorphic, and most of the Europlatus species are. So, right out of the egg, what you have, male or female wise.
Dude, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
So the males of Ebanawi will be spiky. Like they'll have like these long spikes coming out of their dorsum, compared to the females which are completely smooth down the back for the most part.
Oh, interesting.
So there's like
I thought it was his testicles that were really
well, that
visible.
too, but like you don't see those for a little while. But like, yeah, you'll notice that the tail on this guy is like notched, and looks a little bit more jagged. The female's tails will be completely rounded and look like a tiny little leaf. And then the male's backs will just have a ton of little spikes on them, which is dude, they're like little Pokemon.
They are, dude. They look like little leaf demons.
Yep.
With big balls.
Dude, it's so funny because they have like a cool like leaf design on their balls. Like, I got a photo of Ebanawi balls once, and it was like a nice like geometric shape. It's like printed on them.
He's like, nobody's gonna see my testicles coming.
And then you have Lineatus, and like their balls looks like they have like some weird disease because there's like 3 distinct sections. It's like the strangest fucking thing ever.
Oh man, I didn't think we'd be talking about gecko testicles today, but here we are.
Yep.
Man, yeah, I got another picture here that I'm going to bring up. How do you say that again? Ebanawi? Ebanawi. Super cool. Yeah. What neat little geckos. And how big are these guys? Like
they're small. They don't get any bigger than like your thumb. Like the size of your thumb. Oh my
god.
Like the length of your thumb, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. So like I keep my adult pairs in 12 by 18 by 18s. They're like the cool like condo style enclosures. And that's usually what I just use for adult pairs. But you could probably keep single animals in like a 12, 18, preferably 18 cube. But they're a very manageable species to house.
Mm. And we kind of got derailed from feeding, but I wanted to ask you how do you ensure that they're getting their crickets and their crickets aren't just escaping and hiding? Are you tweezer feeding all of them? Are you putting them in a cup? Or how do you
I just let them ride. I just dump crickets in, honestly. And they're good. They're good, able-bodied hunters. Like they look like, so something like a crested gecko, right? It's hiding in a cork tube all day. Like these things are completely different. They're like post up on a branch under the UVB in the day. They might not be moving, but they're there, and they're and then when the lights come off, they just turn it up to 11. Like these things are fucking animals at night. Goes for all the year players. They just wake up and they're active. They're always walking around. So like I do kind of stress like providing a good amount of space. Like I don't know, you can kind of get tricked into thinking that they don't do a whole lot, but at night they're cruising around constantly. So providing a lot of space for them is really important. I'm never worried about these things not eating. Maybe as babies, there's like a runt Ebanawi that hatches every now and then that I like tongue feed to make sure it doesn't starve or anything. But like for the most part, they're extremely able-bodied out the egg. And as long as they are provided crickets, they'll get them just fine.
Yeah, because I noticed that was like the worst thing about our White's tree frog.
Frogs are completely different. Like I have that same experience with my Craspidopus. Is I keep them on paper towels just so they can find crickets. Honestly.
Yeah, because he's just like he's like, oh my god, a cricket, and then he like stares in that direction for like 5 minutes, and he's like, it's gone now. I guess I'll go eat the substrate where it was 5 minutes ago, and just goes and grabs a mouthful of dirt. Yeah,
and it's interesting. Like some, I'm not super familiar with white tree frogs, but Crusiohyla, for example, like they're up in the high canopy, so like they don't really have the bugs don't have a lot to hide under or within. It's either the bug is going to be walking along a branch and they see it and they get it, or they're not dealing with leaf litter, for example, on a regular basis finding food. So there is that element of, like Ebanawi, that's where they live. They live like a couple feet off the ground, a couple meters off the ground. They're in that general vicinity. I find mine hiding under leaf litter all the time. So they're used to that. So they're pretty good about nailing crickets when they see them.
And so this one's a male too, right? So this, if anybody is watching, there's like the dorsal spines, and that indicates a male.
Yep. Yeah. So the spines and the tail structure as well indicates a male right out of the egg.
Wow. Super cool.
Helps me prepare for holdbacks as well. It's very nice.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah. So how long have you been keeping these guys?
2-ish, 2 or 3 years-ish now, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. And at this point, yeah, I think I've got, I don't even know on account how many Ebanawi I've produced at this point. Not a flex. It's just like, they're such a productive species that it can get out of hand pretty quick. And it's like to the point where like, I worry less about getting them to breed and worry more about getting them to stop breeding and making sure they don't kill themselves by burning out fast, you know?
And how do you manage that?
So, you know, you just have to be, you know, I really like to remove males for the winter cooling for Ebanawi, especially, less so to make sure that the males will breed next season. And more so just to make sure that the females are, you know, stop laying and get back into shape. And it's a lot to do with their calcium reserves. So they have very obvious calcium sacs on their neck. And a healthy Ebanawi female during breeding season will maintain something of a calcium sac on her neck. Especially late season, you see a lot of them, you know, that gets, you know, sucked up and it looks like there's nothing there. And if that animal is continually producing eggs like they will, then, you know, there's a good chance it'll calcium crash, unfortunately. So really making sure that your females are geared up and ready to go for the season, making sure that they have those sacs at the ready. One thing that I am going to change about this year, because admittedly I did lose like a good handful of breeding females this past year because of breeding complications. I'm now doing, you know, fully planted enclosures, less so for the animals and more so the fact that I can maintain a population of garlic snails in there at all times. What's cool about Eurypletus is that they also eat snails very readily, shell on. They get a lot of calcium from that shell.
Wow.
So I'm going to start maintaining. And so this was an experiment I did with my bamboo tank. It's kind of like my like fuck around and find out tank, you know? And I've learned a lot from that enclosure. Like that's the enclosure where I saw my male basking one day under, you know, body temp in the 90s. It's the enclosure where, you know, like baby Ebanawi hatch in the enclosure and the parents don't eat them. So I've learned a lot from that tank. But there's like a pest snail that just litters that enclosure. And that female, I have not dusted a single fucking cricket that goes into that enclosure going on like a year.
Wow.
And that female still has big fat fucking chalk sacks and she's producing eggs like crazy.
No kidding.
That was a big eye-opening experience for me that like, this is the healthiest way to maintain your breeding females is to just keep a population of snails, pest snails running. It's really easy. You just set it up like any other, you know, with bioactive, whatever the fucking enclosure, leaf litter, you know, calcium. I usually do like a little piece of chalk in there as well for the snails to eat. And then
chalk, like
the calcium chunks, like a cuttle bone or like turtle blocks or whatever. And I just leave that in there, and the snails will use that. But then the snails will mostly eat decaying plant matter. So like I usually just like drop in like a piece of like vegetable or cucumber or something periodically.
Wow. Bioactive or whatever the fuck. And so what else are you like, if you're doing bioactive, are you putting like isopods in there and springtails?
No. I don't want those things eating my eggs, man.
That's true. They are.
So like I'm also planning on letting all my Ebanawi incubate in the cages and just letting them hatch, and I'll collect them after the fact.
Wow. Just
to save myself some time. Because the eggs are so small that it's like, I don't want to get in there and have to, like, they're literally the size of a pea. And when they lay them, they're like, you know, what they do is they'll actually roll them in dirt to camouflage them.
Wow.
So back when I kept Ebanawi, because I've kept Ebanawi previously over dirt and have gone and collected eggs for a season. And yeah, I was like finding little dirt peas in a couple inches of substrate is like extremely challenging, actually.
Oh yeah, I bet. Damn, dude. So no isopods because they would probably munch away on those.
Yeah, some chow down on eggs are they're after the calcium, so they chow down on eggs fairly regularly from what I've been told. So I avoid those at all costs, though I imagine isopods would be pretty good feeders. So not to say that you couldn't do it and collect your eggs, and the isopods could double as feeders for you, and there's also isopod species that are less calcium like geared, like must eat calcium, blah blah blah. Yeah. You know, there's species like that are less geared towards that. So, not to say that you couldn't, but yeah, I wouldn't intentionally do that to my breeding groups for that reason.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And the garlic snails, are you getting those from somewhere, or are they you just
I've gotten
accidentally
those
got them?
as pests in plants and isopod cultures before. Like they're they're a very common pest for isopod people.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you hit them up, they have rampant garlic snails. And
Oh, that's
because they
crazy.
love the same conditions that isopods do, you know, damp soil, regular food, decomposing food, calcium, and, you know, leaf litter. Like that's their jam, you know. So like,
And they
yeah,
won't mess with the eggs of the.
no.
Wow, that's perfect. Now, what about pests? What about like or not pests? What about like parasites rather?
So with the garlic snails, I'm honestly not. I don't have a great answer as far as like worrying about like parasites and snails. Parasites are like snails in general, like garden snails. Like I would never give an adult or like an animal like a wild snail.
Sure.
They're a very common carrier for like worms, I want to say. Like
Yeah.
I don't know the exact species if they're like pinworms or something, but I know that it's like fairly common for snails to be a big carrier of parasites. So a trick I picked up from Justin Munsterman is he when he was doing snails for his Europlatus, he was using like natural dewormers, so stuff like bell pepper and like pumpkin seed. Like there's a remedy to make like a natural snail dewormer.
Huh.
And I've heard that works fairly well. A lot of like there's like a huge like pet snail community, I guess, and that's what they use a lot to deworm their snails, because I guess garden snails are very very common. So, but like, I mean, like garlic snails are like no bigger than like your pinky nail. So like they're
Yeah.
microscopic snails, and they've just come in as pests. And at this point, you know, like I haven't seen issues with my pest snails, or, you know, causing issues with my animals. I've only
Yeah.
seen benefits with having them together. So it's not something I like consciously think about really.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just had Jason Hood on, and he was telling me about how bearded dragons get pinworms from crickets. Like
Mhm.
crickets have pinworms.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said, and that's why the bearded dragons like getting so hot so they can cook the pinworms off.
Ah.
So it's probably just like having that balance, you
Mhm.
know. And that you have to imagine that their bodies are meant to deal with these things, and if they're in a good setup,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, your animals look healthy as hell.
I appreciate that. You know, with when it comes to like internal parasites and stuff, like there's a natural parasite load with any wild animal, really. And sometimes I think about how much I'm feeding like a captive bred animal versus like a wild caught animal.
Mm.
Like a lot of my wild caught stock are like extremely like fucking food crazy. So like I've noticed that their like food drive is really, really high, and some of my captive animals are a little bit less so. And I almost wonder if it's because they're satisfying their caloric need with far less crickets than the wild stuff, just because of that natural parasite load, which is an interesting thought. So like I sometimes feed my wild caught stuff a little bit more for that reason.
So I want to throw a picture up here, and I'm really curious because these guys are like the bee's knees to me. These things are so cool, dude. And here, like that is just insane. Dude.
So that's your place, Hankelei.
That is wild, and I love just the contrast in the colors. It's almost like he's like pied, you know, where he's got these.
That's like the trade name for this look is pied. It's obviously not actual, you know, pied isn't a morph. It's a natural occurring phenotype. But yeah, no, they're incredible. So so this is the mom of those Hankelei that I produced this past year.
May I ask how much the babies are?
You'll find Hankelei just like normal Hankelei. Usually like I think I've seen them as low as like 500 to like 800 usually.
Okay, so not
pied
like
animals
crazy.
are usually like double that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So cool, dude. And like, how hard are these guys to take care of?
Not at all. Honestly, Hankelei next to Abinawi, hardest part about Europlatus is just the parameters and maintaining good parameters. So like the wider the margin of error, the better. With Hankelei and Abinawi, your margin of error is pretty wide as far as temperatures go. So these guys can tank higher temperatures as well. Just because they come from the same region as the Abinawi, so a little bit warmer, a little bit drier, like I was saying. So yeah, they do really, really, really well. With them, I've seen a lot of people that overfeed have issues where they collect so much fat in the tail that it like droops over. So I know that's like an issue that pops up every now and then with some Hankali.
Just overfeeding.
Yeah, overfeeding. The thing about the UVB light causing tail burns fairly regularly, especially when it gets colder. So keeping an eye out for that, making sure that they can't get too close, or the area right around where the trunk hits the top of the enclosure next to the UV light is covered so that they don't get UV directly beamed on their tail from an inch away. And that's that's for these guys. That's pretty much it. But like they're very you set them up with like a lot of vertical and horizontal branches for them to cling to, and then I also like to mix in some perches, some thinner perches that they'll perch on, waiting for crickets at night. They'll kind of sit in ambush. But yeah, they're a really, really rewarding species. And what I love about Uroplatus, they are like a nocturnal gecko, but you can always see them. Like they have a very cool, like, they got some, like they're very bold in their habits. Like they sit out under the lights all day. You can always see them. So they're really rewarding for that fact. And Hankali are no different.
They look like they would be mean.
Yeah, they're dicks.
Oh, they are?
Yeah. So the Uroplatus in general are very defensive, and I don't know exactly like what that likens to. A common predator of Uroplatus are predatory birds, but also some carnivorous lemurs will go after them. So I mean, we kind of are big hairless lemurs.
Yeah,
a little bit. So I almost wonder if there's a little bit of that mixed in. Hankali and Fimbriatus are no stranger to doing like big threat postures as well. Where they'll like Hankali do like a thing where they will like flatten their beard out super wide, and then they'll flatten their body out, and almost do like they'll gape a lot at you as well. But yeah, when your Hankali and Fimbriatus are pissed off, they make it very known. Lineatus are also terrible. Lineatus have to be like my least favorite to like mess with, just because of how unpredictable they can be. They don't really like jump predictively. They kind of just like fucking flop. Like their big defense like mechanism is to just like drop off of whatever they're on when they're getting harassed. Jeez. And to just grab something with their back legs, and they'll go into like stick mode. So like it's really cool. So like they'll be like climbing or whatever, they'll get scared and they'll just like fucking like flop off, and then they'll just try and catch the first thing that they can with their back legs, and then they'll just like straighten out. Like they'll just go into like full like stick mode. It's really cool, and then they just dangle there. But it becomes really annoying when you're trying to like get babies out to take photos and stuff. I've had a couple of drop tail situations just from messing with them a little bit, and that has really pissed me off on some nights. And so it's just hard to wrangle them, because like trying to get them into a deli, like they're just like flopping, and then you're like worried about them dropping tails and your customer being pissed off because they don't have tails. So it's like, it's just not one I like to deal with. But they'll tongue feed just like any other Uroplatus, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So that you can interact with them a little bit in that regard, but like actually handling, they're one of the worst and one of the most prone to biting you.
And if they don't bite, they might drop their tail.
Yeah. Adults are usually pretty good. Like I don't really worry about adults dropping tails. It's just the fucking babies are just awful.
So you just have to be super careful. I mean, does that like lower their cost if they drop their tail?
I usually do like a cost break if they drop their tails. Their tails are really, really cool. Really unique looking tails where it's like like almost like squared off. So, like if I was buying Uroplatus, I would choose one with a good tail any day. They're called leaf tail geckos, so like I want that cool tail. They regrow them just fine, but it's more just like an arrowhead, or not like an arrowhead, but like it almost looks like a bamboo leaf, what they grow back. So it's a little bit different.
It's never the same when it comes back.
Yep.
Man, I found a picture of your Abronia chomping away on your finger.
Yeah. Talk about biting. Those things are brutal.
Yeah. And so you saw Jackson's chameleons in Hawaii?
So I tried, it was like a family vacation that we took to Hawaii around Maui. And I tried hiking for him a couple times in some higher elevation areas and didn't see any in the forest there. Got reports of some in another area, hiked, didn't see any. And then, we're just on like a tour of like a coffee plantation, in the morning. And, I was just kind of sitting there. I like coffee, but, a little bit checked out. And I look up into a tree and there's like a little baby Jackson's chameleon. And turns out they're littered all over this coffee plantation. So I quickly veered off of that, went in the car, grabbed my camera and came back and just started taking photos of Jackson's chameleons.
That's awesome. How many were there?
I think we saw like 10 or 12 in like
shit.
this one coffee plantation.
Man. Yeah, they're so wild. Those horns are nuts.
Yeah, they're beautiful species for sure. It's one where I don't really, don't like invasives, but like I don't mind finding those, honestly.
Yeah, it's I'm in Florida, so it's like
you guys have it bad out there.
Yeah, we have a lot of invasives here, but it's still cool to see them. Like I can't, what am I going to do? Get angry at the animal that didn't ask to be released here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just doing what they do.
Yeah.
But would you ever add any chameleons to your collection?
I am very conscious about the fact that I'm not here during the day a lot. So I really don't want to keep a ton of diurnal lizards just because it doesn't match up with my feeding schedule. Like usually I have to like get home. I get home around 6 o'clock every day. And then I instantly have to go and feed all the diurnal lizards, and the more stuff I have to feed before the lights turn off, like the longer my night will be. So I'm a little bit conscientious about like adding too much in that realm. So I've got like the Calotes and I've got the Ubronia, and that's pretty much it for diurnal lizards. Just because that's all I really want to have to worry about to feed when I get home. Yeah. Because I don't want to be sitting here dumping a bunch of crickets, at 10 o'clock at night when the lights are off, these poor chameleons, But if I was to, there's a lot of great Madagascan chameleons that I think would translate really well here. Sure. Carpets being probably the coolest. I really like the carpet chameleons, the really small, colorful ones. Those would probably be one that I would add.
Yeah, man. I really like the it's Henkelei, right?
Yeah, the Henkelei. Yeah,
they're so cool. I love the fact that they display the way that they do. It kind of reminds me of my carpet pythons, and I'm so happy. Like I have my carpet pythons out in the main area of the house, and I had my uncle come over yesterday with his girlfriend, and they were able to just like walk by and be like, there's a yellow and black snake, just like fully perched up, like out in the open, just sleeping.
Yeah, I was looking up and see if the Henkelei are out right now. So they're just like posted up on the branches. So it's like, with my carpet too, that's kind of how it is as well. It's just perched out in the open. I love the bolder animals, the stuff that doesn't hide in cork tubes all day.
Yeah. Did you ever keep any lychees or anything?
No. I kept a lychee for like 6 months, but I had it in like a bin. Like I used to keep a lot of new cows and stuff, and I'd have a lot of those binned up, and it's just like fell out of love with that style of keeping and all that. And I definitely moved on from there.
Yeah, for me, like keeping stuff in tubs, I just sit there and I'm like, why am I even doing this?
It's not engaging for me at all. So it's like, why is it? It's like empty, it's just like this big stack of, bin that I, have no interaction with. Yeah,
like I need to be able to see them and enjoy them. Like that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my whole thing. I like seeing the animals.
Yeah. It's like, am I more in love with the thought of having this animal in my room than I am, actually interacting with this animal on a regular basis? So it is a little bit like that, where like, I think I realized that like, I was more attached to the thought of keeping certain stuff than I was like actually having it.
Yeah.
When it was in a bin.
How have you dealt with that? Like how many different species over the course of your life have you gotten and then been like, oh man, this isn't fitting what it's not scratching the itch. Like it's just not fitting what I thought.
A good few actually. Like I'm trying to think back to remember them, but new cows were one. I got really into those for a couple of years. And I moved off of them when I discovered Uroplatus, and I just, I liked seeing all my animals. So like just the fact that I could see them in the daytime was cool. I'm trying to think. Nephris were one. It's like the knobtail geckos, where it's like
they're so cool.
They're so cool. I'd love to do like a display, but the fact that they're in burrows all day is a little off-putting.
Yeah.
So I've got some Amia right now that I might move to a friend's collection that keeps a lot of Australian stuff. So we might be doing that. I was trying to think. What animals have...
What's your friend's name?
Wyatt.
Oh, okay. Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt. He's big into like a lot of like the Oodura. It's like the Australian velvet geckos and stuff. But he also keeps some of the Odatria and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think what else. Like, what reptiles don't I like? I think I know I've had like some bull snakes before that have moved recently.
Why? What didn't click with you with bull snakes?
It was just like, so I had like this Kankakee, and honestly, it was just like the fact that fucking like Wyatt picked it up at a super show and brought it home and like dropped it off at my place. That was like, it was a little bit of that.
I didn't even want this.
I don't want this fucking thing. So it was a little bit of that, and I do love Pituovis. I do keep Cape gopher snakes, or a Cape gopher snake. So like the really bright red, vertebralis.
Oh yeah,
fucking love those things. But yeah, I think a lot of it, the majority of it has to do with just like the style of keeping. And like, yeah, whenever it is like something tubbed is usually when I kind of just lose engagement with it. Some stuff it's mandatory. Like right now I've got all my chondros in tubs. But I am waiting for the day that I can actually set them up. It's some tanks where I can see into them.
So talk to me about the chondros. Like why chondros, and like are they all captive bred? Like what's the story behind the chondros?
Yeah, so Lucas Lee, Centralian Exotics.
Of course. He's a sweetheart. He's the best.
He's also a god at breeding snakes.
He is. That too.
He fucking killed it last year. So me and Lucas, became friends, in the last year or two. And I was browsing Facebook Marketplace one day, and I found some cages, and I thought of him, thought he might want them, so I reached out, sent him the cages. He's like, yeah, I'll take those. Go pick them up for me. So because the listing was in town, so I went and picked up the cages, and I got to talking with this old dude. And he's like, oh yeah, like if you and your buddies ever interested, I do keep some sarong pythons, and I might want to move on from them soon. So I thought he meant scrubs for the longest time. And then I eventually picked up a rack from him, and we got talking again. And then he brought out some of these sarong pythons, and they're like these beautiful 8-9-year-old captive bred sarong green trees. Wow. And I was like, oh man, these things are incredible. And he's like, yeah, like I kind of just want to keep one or two of them, so I might move on from this pair. So he offered me the pair, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll think about it. Hit him up and just asked him how much he wanted for it. And he was like, yeah, like I don't really want to post them on Wharf Market, so I'll do a 1K with cages and everything for this 9-year-old captive bred pair of pure sarongs.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got lucky is what I'm trying to say. It fell into my lap. And obviously that's something you just don't say no to. I don't know if I would have gotten into green trees outside of that, but I am very thankful that they found me.
Yeah.
It's been a reward, frustrating at times, but also rewarding experience thus far. So we got those green trees, and I split the pair with Lucas. And then they reside at his house. The adults do. But he was baller enough to get those things to lock up the same night that we brought him over to his house, and then they dropped a clutch a couple months later, and we were driving home from Super Show, Pomona Super Show in June, I think. It was like 10 o'clock at night. We're driving home middle of the night, me and my coworkers. And then I'm just like sitting there scrolling on my phone in the passenger seat. It's quiet in the car, nothing's going on late at night. And then I see like a fucking image pop up on my phone. It's like this little yellow head, and I just go, holy fuck. And then my coworker that's driving like jumps and like almost like crashes the car on the way home. So it's because of that reaction. But so yeah, so we got 16. Trying to think No, we got 14 that pipped and lived. Clutch of 16. I think there was like one infertile and then one died in the egg or something. But then we had 14 beautiful, healthy little strongs. So we split those up, and then I think, getting them to eat was easy at first, but then it became fairly challenging. And then I kind of figured out some tricks with mine, at least, that seemed to work pretty well.
So wait a minute, how did it start out easy and then get difficult?
Well, so they all took for Lucas. Like he got all of them to take like first try, pretty much all but 2 take first try.
Oh, wow.
Which, shout out to him,
because he's a wizard.
He's a wizard. That's just Lucas the wizard. And then I brought my 7 home because I did, I wanted to raise these things. I want that, I gotta put some effort in, Yeah. So it was cool. We had like a little like draft night where we like picked our snakes and stuff, and then so I took those home, got them set up, and then they, half of them took first try, and then the other half didn't, and then it's just like a mix of trying different things to get them to eat consistently. So some of them, I'm trying to think back of what they were like. One of them would eat every single time, never gave me any issues. 3 of them would eat half the time with some heavy encouragement in the form of like bonking the shit out of them with Pinky. And then the other...
That one has brain damage now.
It was pretty much just like a game of pissing them off until they struck and took. And then 2 of them never ate for me. And then so I would eventually, get to the part where I'm like, oh shit, dude, this thing's looking like crap. So I'd shove, like a chicken gizzard or something down their throat. One of them didn't take to that and, never ate willingly and just didn't thrive. So I ended up losing one. And then I actually lost another shortly thereafter, similar reasons. But the one that had never eaten for me willingly, but ate once for Lucas, hung on. And I eventually got a tip from this guy named Russell Dubritz, I think is his name. He's like, dude, just try feeding them all in the dead of night, all the lights off, no light whatsoever. So I tried that, and oh my god, the feeding response that I got was incredible. All 5 of the ones that I had left fucking took, and like from then on, like it's been smooth sailing. Was just feeding them, no lights at all. Only thing I have is my little phone light to kind of just barely see what I'm doing. But that seemed to like really trigger them to kick on.
No shit.
And haven't had a single issue since.
And do you continue to feed them in the dead of night, or have you been able to kind of get away from that?
Nope, I just do it. Just, by the time I get to that in my like care routine of animals, it's already like 10, 11 o'clock at night. It's like, all right, I'll just leave the lights off for half an hour and then come back and feed them. And then, it's just done in 5 minutes. Sometimes I do have issues where like they'll take it and then they'll like just drop it for whatever reason. Like that happens every now and then, but I just pick the thing up, piss it off again, or like, pick it up, tap it, and it just takes it instantly.
I wonder if that's what Lucas was doing. If he was just doing it in the dead of night.
I don't think so. I think he fed him in the day, which is crazy.
Son of a bitch.
Something's in the air up there, man. I don't know what it is.
He's the snake whisperer.
He's the snake whisperer, man. Some people have it. I don't know.
He bred so much stuff this year. It was crazy.
Yeah. What do you get? Fucking indigos, diamonds.
Yep.
Probably won't. I would. Womas, obviously. He ticked up a lot of stuff. So props to that.
Yeah, that guy's on fire. It's like I feel like it's come up in like 4 podcasts, like how well Lucas is doing.
Yeah.
What about? Have you ever heard of people like feeding geckos to green tree python babies? Would you ever try that out if you had to?
So I did try that once. I think I had like a it was some gecko that I bred that came out really weird, like spinal kink and stuff. And I was going to off it anyway. So I think I dropped it into the tub of that animal that ate once for Lucas, but then held on for a while and is still alive today. So I dropped that in there and he took it.
He did eat it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And honestly, I think what I seriously regret doing is maybe, the one thing that I think I could have changed with the 2 that died, is I don't think force feeding is the way to go with chondros. And I know some people, everybody has a different opinion on that kind of thing. For me, those animals that I ended up having to force feed did not take to it well. I think, I don't know if there's something about them eating it willingly, like when they're ready, that makes it so they can digest it better or what, but like, for whatever reason, they just did not take the food getting shoved in them. I probably go figure. I probably wouldn't either. Like, looking back, it seems obvious, but other people do that and have success. So it's like, I can't say anything on like the validity of that. But I will say for my experience, I don't think I'll ever do that again. I think I'd much rather just drop a gecko in there, a time or two until they kind of get used to that, or try feeding at night. Hopefully we have some success this coming year with these, breeding that same pair again. But if we don't, or whenever the next time we have the opportunity to raise up some animals again, I might just try the night trick and hope it works. And if not, then I'll probably go to geckos, honestly.
What are you doing with those 5? Are you going to keep them all?
Yeah. So I imagine I'll probably just, keep all 5 and raise them up, and then eventually trade 2 of them to somebody else with captive bred strongs, get some different blood in here, and then pair them up. I'll just keep my 3. There's 3 that I'm like, this is never leaving, really nice dorsal stripes or have like really big ocelli. And then there's 2 that have a little bit less so. So I'll probably end up, depending on how the sexes work out, I'll probably end up trading those away for different sexes. I think me and Lucas are going to do some ratio correcting eventually. And then after that, I think we might trade for some unrelated stuff, hopefully.
Okay. So you guys are going to swap as you sex them?
Yeah. I think we each have our 3 that we like, we'll never let go. But then we have like 2 that say like I end up with 5 females and then he ends up with 5 males. Like, we'll swap our 2 that we're not super as thrilled on, just so we can correct our ratios a little bit.
How close is Lucas to you?
He lives in maybe half an hour from my hometown up in San Jose. So he's maybe 2.5 hours, 3 hours from me. But I visit San Jose a lot because my parents live there still. My girlfriend's up there working. So I'm in the area fairly regularly.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's perfect. What a good friend to have.
Yeah. 100%. We're vending Pomona together. I'm very excited.
Oh, dude, that's epic.
Yeah. It's going to be a cool mix of leaf tails and Australian pythons, I think.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think he's bringing some indigos too. So it should be really, really interesting table to post up. Yeah. So it'll be me, Lucas, and then Alex, who is a co-owner of the East Bay Vivarium. He's bringing some, he's got a custom cage, thing. So I think he's doing a little bit of that. Shout out to Alex for letting me bunk into their tables, but it sounds like it's going to be a complex with East Bay Vivarium, Indigo Vivariums is their cage line. And then it'll be me and Lucas vending our animals as well, which will be pretty fucking sick. I'm pretty stoked.
Man, I wish I lived in I wish I could come visit. I'd love to hang out with you guys.
The one show that I would say the best show in my opinion in all of California is LA Pet Fair. It's in Pomona. It's the classic Pomona show, but it adds on a whole building of fish and bird as well. It doesn't take away from the reptile in any way. It's just adding on 2 extra buildings. So there's 50, 60,000 people that go through in a weekend, and it's fucking chaos. It's awesome. And it's a great time of year where if you take a long weekend, Palm Desert's maybe an hour and a half away. So you can go, herp, do whatever, and then, hit the show as well.
I'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun trip.
Yeah.
I've never been to California either.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, no shit. That's a good one. That's a great one to hit.
It's such a big state too. It's if you were to go to that area, how far away would the redwoods be? How far? It's probably hours, right?
Yeah.
Hours upon hours.
There's Sequoia National Park would be what I would think would be closest. Actually, the true redwoods, Santa Cruz, the Santa Cruz Mountains are a great place to see redwoods, obviously. But that's 6 hours up north. That's closer to me and Lucas than it is to LA. But you get some really good desert stuff down in LA or around LA. But if you're after redwood forest, then Sequoia National Park, I think, is 3 or 4 hours from there. I want to say, maybe a little bit farther depending on how the freeways are laid out. But
do you when you go out herping? What do you see? Do you see any inverts like tarantulas, and what do you see when you go out? Do you see rosy boas?
I haven't found the rosy boa, so that's rubbing it in a little harsh. I really want to. That's been that was my goal for this past year, and I just didn't tee it up. But no, so we see, we got our a bunch of different rattlesnakes and stuff. That's probably the biggest. We probably have probably one of the best variety of rattlesnakes, honestly, in the country, aside from maybe
you can
Arizona, West Texas
too,
kind of thing. We can keep natives, so we can keep.
That's so crazy.
Without permits or any. I think we need a fishing license or something, which is really funny.
That's so wild.
But we can keep our native hots, I want to say. And I think there is a limit. I don't think you can keep 2.
Yeah.
Or 2 of a species or 2 in general. I'm not super familiar with the legislation, honestly. But I know you can't just keep natives. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Which, it opens the door to speckled rattlesnakes, sidewinders, the 2 Pacific rattlesnake species.
Yeah.
So there's some cool ones.
Man. So is that mostly what you run into when you go out herping
that's usually what we target, honestly. It's just the rattlesnakes, but we get there's days that, a lot of people out here, California is a great spot to find mountain kings and stuff as well. So, it's a little bit different style of herping. I haven't teed one up yet, but, that's another big California thing is the mountain kings out here are really pretty or, are excellent.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, how do you keep your snakes? How are you keeping the green tree pythons? How are they set up right now?
Just, classic tub with perches,
Yeah.
I really want to experiment with because I only have 5 of them right now. I think I really want to try out some of those Cambro sliders, as they're growing. I think that'd be a really sweet way to kind of double the convenience and cleaning and, combine that with actually being able to see them. So I really want to experiment with some of those Cambro sliders. So that's probably what I'll move them into eventually. But right now they're just in, a standard rack.
Yeah. Do you ever see yourself getting any indigos or anything? Any dry marcon?
We'll see how Pomona goes. Every time Lucas posts them, I'm just oh man, this is a badass snake. And I don't know how well it'll. Cool. I don't know. It probably won't go well if I'm sitting next to one for a whole weekend. So talk to me after Pomona and we'll see.
Can I trade you a green tree python?
Another one of the same gluts that you have, Lucas.
Yeah, exactly.
If I can convince Lucas to take on some leaf tails, and then maybe an indigo will come home.
Oh yeah, that would be.
It'll be out of left field for both of us.
Yeah. Did he send you pictures of those blacktail crebos?
Yeah. He sent me a picture of it biting his finger, and he was like, "You want?" And I was like, "God, no."
He's the devil.
Not really, man.
Yeah, he sent me that. They're so pretty though.
Yeah.
They're their coloration and their pattern is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what an epic snake. Blacktails are awesome.
It doesn't.
I just got a male Texas indigo yesterday.
Nice, yeah.
And I'm in love. Even though I've had a really, really limited interaction, I'm this is going to be so cool.
Everything I hear and every time I go over, those things are watching you, and they're very they got a lot. It seems like they got a lot going on upstairs. So it seems like a really rewarding species to mess with.
Yeah. And my biggest fear is the poop, and I haven't experienced that yet. And I hope that, and I've heard, talking to a lot of people, they're it's worth it. It's worth cleaning up the mess because you're going to be passionate about it. Yeah. You're going to enjoy these animals. It's going to be rewarding.
Yeah. Run an air purifier with some carbon in it.
Done and done.
Done and done. I will say, whenever I go over to Lucas's place, it don't smell. I think that's good. His fiance now. I think his fiance would have his neck if it did smell like dry mark on shit. So for them, I don't ever notice it when I go to his place. So whatever. I would talk to him about smell remedy. He seems to have it down pretty good.
For sure. Yeah, his animals are so gorgeous. His indigos. If I wasn't in Florida, I probably would have went with Easterns. But there is I have that fear of legislation changing or something where. Mm-hmm. They're going to want more from me because I'm in Florida, beyond the interstate travel permit and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I looked at that permit, the paperwork for it, and I was like, blech. It was kind of
a bit much. Yeah.
I hate permits.
Yeah. Honestly, it doesn't help though that we were kind of in dry marcon habitat for a couple days in Costa Rica. There's crebos down there. So we didn't see any though. I think we found the shed of it wasn't a Crebo. I think it was like a Sipo, something like that, but another really big colubrid. It would have been really cool to see any Drymarchon, honestly. But if I found a Drymarchon down there, then maybe there would have been some life to possibly picking one up. But
yeah.
Oh well. Next time.
John Michaels, I think he went down. I can't remember where he went. He went on a vacation and he found one while he was on vacation. I think it was a yellowtail.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, that's pretty epic. It was a little one. Mm-hmm. And then I remember when I put my episode with John Michaels up on Patreon, Lucas messaged me and he's like, dude, you're cooked. Like, you're going to get an indigo now. And he was fucking right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I already took enough terrible inspiration and I got a pair of Womas now, so.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah. So
what all do you have as far as snakes?
I used to keep Womas as like when I was growing up. So like I do like have a soft spot for that species especially. So I'm very happy I have those again. And they're a lot of what I would imagine an indigo might be like, something that's out and active fairly regularly. Brains less so, but they're a beautiful snake. Yeah. So that kind of makes up for that. So yeah, I got the indigo, or excuse me, I got the Womas, the one diamond from Brandon.
Wait a minute, you got a baby diamond from
Wheeler?
Brandon?
Yeah, so the same one, same clutch as yours.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to exchange pictures. I think mine was like the runt of the litter. It was the last to sell, the last to eat. So mine might be a little bit behind yours, but same.
Yeah, my girls are growing, dude, and they're outside too.
Yeah,
so they're just like putting size on.
Mine's still like maybe like 2 feet, 2.5 feet.
Okay, so they might be about the same size then.
But they're still she very much has a young carpet head.
Sure.
So I got those, and then a pair of rhinos as well, and then some Madagascan cat-eyed snakes. I think that.
Ooh.
Yeah, the Madagascar Ophis. Those are fun.
Yeah, those are cool. How come you don't have pictures of those up on your Instagram?
I don't know. Honestly, I just keep the Instagram mainly to the Europlays. I try and keep it focused best I can, but every now and then I'll leak some stories out of some of the other stuff I got going on. But like, I should post those more often because they're very goofy snakes, and they're so like food motivated. It's like so sketchy to handle them because like they're just very clued into movement. So like at night, if I ever like mess with them, they're just like locked onto my fingers.
Yeah.
And I've had some close calls. They're rear fanged, and I've been bitten once, but it was just like a quick like strike bite. Didn't latch on and didn't have my finger for very long, so I didn't get any reaction to it. But like the thought is in the back of my head that like I don't know if I really want to deal with that for a day. Yeah.
So I do you still have this tent gecko room built? Mm-hmm. That's not where you are right now?
Yeah. We're in it right now.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the only place where I can not wake the roommates. Yeah, so it's in the garage. So that's how I'm able to get all these like nice like temperature fluctuations, is that like it's fairly exposed to the elements, or it's whatever the outside is has a big influence on what the garage is. So I like it for that reason, and I just use the tent just to kind of buffer a little bit.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's funny how many of like your reels and stuff, like your posts that I've seen go up, and like now I'm like it's all coming back to me as I'm like scrolling through. I was hoping you would have had the what were they, cat-eyed snakes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been so cool.
Madagascar Ophis, yeah.
You got to put them up, dude.
All right, yeah. I'll make it a point. I'll take some pictures.
Especially with your setup.
Yeah. Like the one thing though about Costa Rica that frustrated the absolute shit out of me is how many different fucking colubrids there are and how difficult they are to photograph. Like I was just getting so, I'm gonna be honest, I was getting so fed up every time somebody would find like a snail eater or like any, like clouded snail eaters or, slug eating snakes, anything like that. I wouldn't even like celebrate. I'd just be like, oh, gotta go sit and take a photo of this fucking piece of shit. Things wiggling everywhere and like, being a pain in the ass and like beautiful snakes. I'm so happy we saw them. It was incredible seeing all the variety. So don't take this the wrong way, but like then having to think about photographing them was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Why can't you just be another cool frog that just sits there and like,
just chills.
Just chills,
Yeah. It's so hard to get a picture in focus of something that moves a lot because
and just like
camera
posing
can't
it
keep
in like
up.
a really dynamic way so that the photo, it looks, it's an exciting photo. Like trying to get that is really difficult. So like any photo you
like
see,
this.
yeah. Well, like, yeah, that thing is just sitting there on a perch. It's not moving. So like I had
Yeah.
time to like adjust the angle of where I was really well. But
Yep.
then like I've got some photos of like, various, small colubrids and all of those took like 20 minutes to get that shot.
Yeah. Yep.
And when you're getting like a couple different species a night, it's just like, not another one of these damn colubrids.
I know. They're even just trying to get a picture of my dry marcon of my indigo, like to show people.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, stop moving for
Yeah.
like 2 seconds here.
Yeah.
Just look at me, look at the camera for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. As far as keeping goes though, like I do like really appreciate snakes that are fairly active. So, I do love keeping some colubrids, but when it comes to photographing, I am not a fan.
Oh man. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh man, I'm really excited for salamander season.
Oh, you keep salamanders
No,
too?
I just go look for them. But that's kind of what we're
herping.
getting into now. Yeah, that's kind of what I got to look forward to now outside of Pomona. It's just back into salamander season.
So what are you looking like? How does herping for salamanders look?
It's either a mix of just like hiking in the rain or like road cruising in the rain or just going out and flipping stuff. But we have some really cool salamanders in California. So we've got, I think most famously we've got a lot of Ensatina. There's a couple different species in California. So there's the blotches, and then there's the various colors of the blotched Ensatina, which are like, like a small size salamander, but they have like these really nice, like big yellow blotches on a black base, orange blotches on a black base. There's also some that are more of like a burgundy color with some orange. So there's like a lot of really cool salamanders here. Got the California Giants, the California Tigers. Those are fucking awesome. So
yeah,
and honestly, just as fun to find as snakes, in my opinion.
Just when you said that about like going out in the rain and herping, like did you guys run into a lot of rain in Costa Rica?
No, actually, we were really lucky.
Really
lucky and unlucky because some of the animals come out a lot in the rain, but like we only were really hiking in I don't know, like there was only like one day that was like heavily raining. It drizzled a few nights, but not so much where I didn't feel comfortable taking my camera out. So it was like actually kind of like a blessing, because if it was like torrential downpour, I probably wouldn't have gotten most of the photos that I got, honestly, just because of, the camera not being waterproof.
Sure. Do you think you'll ever upgrade to like a waterproof one? Or
I don't know,
at least resistant?
I don't know what that, I don't know.
You probably have to go with like a 5D or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what model is. I gotta look into my camera because I've got a Canon 80D or something like that. So I gotta look into what water resistance it has. I did buy some camera covers on Amazon, but it's mostly just like a plastic bag with like a hole for a lens. So like
fancy.
Yeah, right. So like I never even really messed with those. I just kind of got them as like a backup. But I'm not too sure, honestly.
Yeah. I think my 6D Mark II is dust and moisture resistant, which is pretty good. But you have to get like their L series lens then too. So you have to get one that's dust and water resistant, because otherwise it just goes right through the lens anyway.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I hate dust. I'm more concerned about dust than rain, honestly.
Yeah. And sometimes it was annoying because like you'd find animals. So like I really like photographing like wide angle shots. So like I like getting some of the habitat mixed in there with the animal as well. So I use I try and shoot in 18 millimeter as much as I can, or like, a low wide angle millimeter, as much as I can. But some of the species out there, it's like, you really want to get some great macro shots of them too. So I did swap lenses. I was sitting there swapping lenses a lot for some of the small frogs. So like all the glass frogs and stuff, I try and get wide angle, but then I really wanted to mix in a good macro shot with them as well.
What kind of lenses are you using?
So I just use the kit lens that comes with the Canon. So it's like an 18 to 55. And use that for a lot of like the wide angle stuff, but I do want to get like a wide angle where I can get closer to the subject. So something with like a shorter minimum focus distance. I really want to pick one of those up. But I use that, and then I just use like 100mm macro as well.
Nice.
For the other stuff. But honestly, for most of my day-to-day, I almost never use the macro just because of how zoomed in it is. It's just not practical for a lot of what I keep. But some of the shots is cool.
Do you use the Canon 50mm, the prime lens, the Nifty 50? Have you ever messed with that?
I don't think so.
I like that lens a lot. They're like $140. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can let a lot of light in with that thing. Like you can go down to like 1.8, I think, or something.
Yeah.
You know, so like, yeah, it's a decent lens for the price from Canon.
Yeah. I usually try and stick to like like 11 to 18 when shooting some animals, just because like I feel like I want to get as much of the animal in the shot as I can. Like sure. I don't like it a lot when like the eye is in focus, but then like the nose isn't, you know?
Sure.
It just looks a little bit strange sometimes. So I usually just try and maximize. I usually just try and shoot get as much in focus as I can. And then as the background will just naturally be out of focus, but like as long as the head is fully in focus, then I'm usually pretty happy.
Yeah, and that helps with a subject that's moving a lot too.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot more room for error there.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, the flash, the flash helps a lot with that, with cranking, your shutter speed way down.
You gotta send me links for that flash because it's go time.
Yep. I will. Right after this episode, I'll shoot that over to you.
Cool, man. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much. So many good vibes coming from you, dude. You're always smiling. You're such a happy guy.
I get to be in a room with Europlatist. Couldn't be happier.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. This was a long time coming. We've talked for quite a while.
Yeah. No, really happy we can make this happen. Yeah, that was awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you coming on.